Hello BookTube, my name is Elizabeth and welcome back to the Owlery. Today I'm going to be bringing you my ARC August wrap-up. I did pretty good for ARC August. I didn't exactly finish as many advanced readers copies as I wanted, but I made a pretty decent dent. So let's go ahead and get started. I already did a little mini wrap-up at the beginning of the month for the first week of ARC August. I will link that up here in the eye if you guys want to check that out. But the first book that I read after that wrap-up was actually Alice in Wonderland by J.M. Sullivan. Now, the way that this book, the synopsis made it sound was that it was a plague, and it didn't really specify the time of history that it was set in. And because of the original story, Alice in Wonderland, and because of the way that, you know, the first thing you think of as plague is like the Black Plague, and so I thought it would be set in like a medieval type of time period, and it wasn't. It was set in modern day and it had zombies, and so I just wasn't feeling this one. I don't know if just my preconceived notion of what the book was going to be about kind of clouded my judgment on it. The writing style was good, the main character was interesting, I just wasn't with the plot or the setting or anything like that. It was interesting seeing the main character, Alice, have a sister, but just I wasn't the biggest fan of this advanced reader's copy, unfortunately. Then I read Dividing Eden by Joelle Charbonneau. This book was fantastic. Basically, this set of twins, a boy and a girl, they have always been raised to know that their older brother is going to take the throne after their father passes away. Well, during a battle with a neighboring country, their father and their brother dies. And because of some political problems surrounding the monarchy, no one can really decide whether the boy or the girl should become the next king or queen of the country, and so they have to battle each other. And it was so exciting. I loved the dynamic, the brother and sister dynamic. I'm extremely close to my brother, and so I could really relate to that plot point, and it was just so cool. It was very, very well written. I loved the world building. It gave me enough information to understand the problems that were going on in this country, but not too much information that it was info dumpy. I just really loved the dynamic of the characters and their relationship, and there wasn't very much romance in this story, which I really enjoyed, and it was perfect for the type of story that it was. Highly, highly enjoyable. I think I gave this one a 4.5 out of 5 stars. The writing style and the pacing were just really, really good, and overall I ate this story up and I really enjoyed it. Then I read Gamma by Susan Wiggins, and basically this is a story about an island that is very secretive. Not very many people can go in or out. The world building was almost perfect. There was almost a couple of times where I was just a little bit confused as to the way that this world was set up and how everything worked together, but the characters were really enjoyable. I loved the side characters and how they had so much meaning to the main character and to the flow, how the story was moving forward. This book is a bit long. I think I would have rather it had been split into 2 books because it did get a little slow there in the middle, but other than that I did enjoy the story. I just wish it had a little bit more fine tuning overall. This is the perfect read for anyone who is a fan of real good dystopians, and if you want to try to win yourself a copy of this book, I have a giveaway listed in the description below. You're going to win a print signed copy of Gamma by Susan Wiggins and a $20 Amazon gift card, so definitely check out the giveaway in the description for you guys to have a chance to win this really awesome dystopian. After Gamma, I picked up Tantus Moon by Elizabeth Raven. Now, I loved this story, but I might be a little biased. So, this story was set in St. Augustine, Florida, which is actually my hometown. And if you guys have ever been to St. Augustine, it's the oldest city in America, one of the very first settlements. We just don't learn about it because it was a Spanish settlement, not an English settlement. But St. Augustine is so old. It's called the Ancient City, and it has so much history and life and diversity in it, and I just love it. It's my favorite city in the entire world. And so Tantus Moon is set in St. Augustine, and it's about this woman who has opened up a metaphysical store, and there is a bit of a mystery that she is trying to figure out and solve. And I loved the magic and the metaphysical element to this story, and I loved the relationship between the main character and the love interest, and I thought it was written so well, and the pacing was really good, and I liked that the relationship wasn't insta-love. She actually kind of hates him at first, and it's kind of a slow burn, and I just really, really loved this story. It was written so well. I'm not really sure what else I can say about this story specifically, just that I really loved it. I gave it a 4.5 out of 5 stars. You also do not have to be a lover of St. Augustine or have visited there to understand the feel of the city. You know, it's very old and haunted, and, you know, she really has a way of taking those feelings of you being in St. Augustine and putting them into her writing. It was just so good, and I loved this story. Then I picked up The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue by Mackenzie Lee. This book was long, which is my only complaint about it. I love the two main characters who are in a male-male romance, and I love that there's like this drama that goes on between them, and it's not just all lovey-dovey. It just seems so real. I love the setting. This was set in like 18th century Europe, I believe, and they travel all around Europe, and I think that's so cool, seeing so many different places. And I didn't really know what was going on, like what the plot, what the problem was in this story until I read it, and I loved it. There's kind of like a mystery thing that they have to figure out about this box that our main character steals from the Palace of Versailles, and it's just so interesting and intriguing, and I love everything about this story. I enjoyed all of it, and I loved it so much. I wasn't expecting to love it as much as I did. I really loved the main character's sister. I'm really bad with names, sorry, but the main character's sister, she was so funny and spunky and independent and a modern day feminist, if you will. She wanted to learn and I think go to medical school or something like that. It was just so refreshing, and I loved everything about this story. Then I picked up The Waking Land by Callie Bates, and this is about our main character, and she is basically raised by the king of her country because her dad was a traitor and the king kind of takes her under her wing. Now, when the king mysteriously dies of poisoning, she is blamed for his murder. So she has made it her life mission to prove that she is not the murderer of this man who raised her like a father, and come back to her country without anyone blaming her for this murder. And there's magic, and there's kind of like a witch hunt element to the story, and I loved it. Another really great fantasy book that I read this month that was just a bit too long. I would have liked it to be a little bit shorter, a little bit more compact, maybe lead into a second book. I'm not sure if there's going to be one, but I really enjoyed this story, and I think I read it in like a day and a half. I am currently reading Because You Love to Hate Me, which is edited by Owlery, which is it's the book about short stories about authors and booktubers that got together. Now, heard some conflicting things about this. I read the first two stories and I enjoyed them. The first one, not as much as the second one, but this is our Once Upon a Read Along book of the month, so I'm going to be talking all about this book Sunday, September, I'll put the date here, I don't remember. It's not the first week in September, it's the second Sunday in September. Anyway, and I'm going to be talking about this with me and Chloe from the Brunette Bibliophile, who is my Once Upon a Read Along book buddy, and then Kales is our special guest from Kales Corner. She's going to be joining us talking about this book as well, and she had some very negative thoughts about this story, so I think it's going to be a very interesting live, so definitely join us, read the book with us, and join us to talk about all of our thoughts. Alright guys, that is it for my ARC August wrap-up. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that you guys got a bunch of advanced readers copies read this month if you were participating. Let me know down in the comments below what your favorite book is that you read this month. If you want to watch some more of my videos, you can click here. If you'd like to subscribe, you can click my face. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!